Good afternoon and welcome to this presentation of the Coliseum Baseball Tournament on the Coliseum Sports Network. We're about to get into the second game of our doubleheader between the Seattle Mariners and the San Francisco Giants. This is the final matchup of the opening round of the Coliseum Baseball Tournament. The Giants are the 4 seed, so they are hosting, and the Mariners are the 5 seed. The winner of this game will go on to host the Houston Astros, and then the loser of this matchup will go over to Oakland across the bay and take on the number 1 seed Oakland Athletics, who, while being one of the favorites next to Detroit to win the American League pennant, were upset by the Houston Astros in the second game of this opening round. But alas, we'll see who ends up where, if we'll have a Bay Area series or if we will have a AL West matchup down in the losers bracket. I suppose if the Mariners win, that'll also be an AL West matchup in the winners bracket too. But we'll have to play the game to see which way these two teams are going. On the mound, two very strong pitchers, Felix Hernandez for the Mariners and Madison Bumgarner for the Giants. Before we get to the lineups here, it's important for me to point out the fact of how the trade deadline affected one of these teams, and that team is the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners were in on that 3-team deal that sent David Price to Detroit. We will see David Price when Pittsburgh takes on Detroit in the losers bracket matchup this coming week on Monday. It'll be Charlie Morton for Pittsburgh and David Price for Detroit. But on Seattle's end, they had to send shortstop Nick Franklin to Tampa Bay. And in return, the Mariners got Austin Jackson from the Tigers. Austin Jackson will be leading off for the Mariners today, so he is the first face that you will see. He will be followed by Chris Denorfia, who came along in a separate trade where the Mariners had to give up Abraham Almonte and Scott Colsheen in exchange for the struggling Denorfia, as the other two went off to San Diego. Denorfia heads way up the road to Seattle to play for the M's. And while I'm at it, I'll get to the rest of the lineup for the Mariners. Batting third will be the second baseman Robinson Cano. Batting fourth will be the third baseman Kyle Seager. Batting fifth will be the first baseman Kendry Morales. Batting sixth will be the catcher Mike Zunino. Batting seventh will be the left fielder Dustin Ackley. Batting eighth will be the shortstop Brad Miller. And since this is a National League park, Felix Hernandez, the starting pitcher, will hit ninth. And for the Giants, leading off will be the right fielder Hunter Pence. Batting second will be the center fielder Gregor Blanco. Batting third will be the catcher Buster Posey. Batting fourth will be the third baseman Pablo Sandoval. Batting fifth will be the left fielder Mike Morse. Batting sixth will be the first baseman Travis Ishikawa. Batting seventh will be the shortstop Brandon Crawford. Batting eighth will be the second baseman Joe Panic. And Madison Bumgarner, the starter, will bat ninth. So it's setting up to be a very beautiful day. Not a lot of clouds at AT&T Park in San Francisco. We'll get you out there very shortly. It's the Coliseum Baseball Tournament on the Coliseum Sports Network. Beautiful, sunny, the final match, the Western in the San Francisco Seattle Mariners. Thank you for tuning in for the second game of our doubleheader, and it should be a very good one between the just went shopping, made some trades Thursday. Mighty San Francisco Giants, who, despite some rough seasons, West. We'll take a look one more time at the Mariners' opening lineup. As I said before, new acquisition will be front and center, batting first and second in this inning, and they will be taking on Madison Bumgarner, the number one. He bats right, and we'll see that later on, but he throws left. And that'll be very interesting to see how the Mariners respond against left-handed pitching. So to lead off, we start off the tournament, but here he is wearing the navy blue and teal of the Seattle Mariners. Is Austin Jackson. And the first pitch is a two-seamer outside. That's how we're going to get going here in San Francisco. Austin Jackson coming here as part of that big David Price trade. David Price, who wasn't in the tournament as he played for the Tampa Bay Rays, he'll be in it. He'll be starting on Monday of the Coliseum baseball tournament. 2-0 count here already to Austin Jackson. And the four-seamer inside, strike one. 2-1 count early to Austin Jackson. Austin Jackson, a very huge get. He not only improves the team defensively in center field, he also, when it comes to left-handed pitchers, like against 3 balls and 1 strike. For much of the season, the Mariners lineup skewed very left, and that can get kind of awkward once you start facing left-handed pitching. With the addition of Jackson, right-handers in there, and the Mariners may be able to hit a little better and at least compete for a shot at a playoff spot. Full count here to the new Mariner, and he swings on the drop strike, and Posey able to complete the strikeout. That's how we'll get started here from San Francisco. There's 1 out, and here's a look at the San Francisco. Next up here, the other big addition, Kristen Norfia. And he swings on the pitch inside, and it'll be a 5-3 putout for out number 2. Big get much earlier in the year, Robinson Cano. And he swings on the first pitch, and that'll be an easy out as Bumgarner covers first. So 3 up and 3 down. 3 big names for the future of the Mariners, but they do not generate any hits in the top of the first. Giants get their first swings after this. Welcome back to San Francisco. Here's a look at the starting lineup for the home team. Pence, Blanco, and Posey will get the opening swings here. And they'll be taking on King Felix. He's been a dominant player for the Mariners for a very long time. It's really just a matter of surrounding him with equally effective offensive players. Here's a look at some of those players. Jackson and DeNorfia patrolling the outfield with Dustin Ackley. Here to get started in the home half of the first. Striped socks and all, here's Hunter Pence and that trademark unorthodox batting stance. Hits this one right back to Hernandez, and it will be a 1-3 putout for out number 1. Next up here, center fielder Gregor Blanco. Blanco hitting in the 2 spot, which he was doing exclusively to start off the season. But then he hit a very huge slump. He was moved around a bit until he got his bearings. He's hit second a couple of times in recent weeks, but to start off this tournament, he finds himself in the 2 spot. First pitch he'll take from Hernandez is a ball. Gregor Blanco overall this season, 245, the 321 on base percentage, 24 walks, 1 home run, 19 RBIs. Here's the 1-0 from Hernandez. And this one put in play, rounded up at second by Cano, 4-3 put out for out number 2. Here is the catcher, Buster Posey. And he'll swing on the first pitch. This one rolls into right. And Buster Posey gets a 2-out single to keep the inning alive. Here is the third baseman, Pablo Sandoval. Complete with his trademark opening walk-up. And you can't deny it. You gotta love the uniqueness of the Giants in terms of personality. It helps in terms of on the field. Sandoval will roll this one into right center. Hernandez is already in opening trouble. That'll bring up the left fielder, Mike Morse. So Posey on second, Sandoval on first. And the first pitch from Hernandez, a sinker outside. This has not been an uncommon sight in this tournament, where a pitcher, a well-known, renowned pitcher, struggles early. Four-seamer sails high, ball 2. Now for each of these pitchers, it's the opening round of a tournament, and we'll see how far these teams go if any of these aces ever come back around and have the opportunity to redeem themselves for the rough starts. And just yesterday, we saw the likes of Chris Sale and Clayton Kershaw struggle on the mound in what were eventually losses. Morse carrying this one to left field, still going at the warning track back, and Ackley reaches out for it and gets the third out. So for all the trouble that Hernandez was in, he's able to get out of the jam, and it's still scoreless heading into the top of the second. Welcome back to San Francisco. We start off the top of the second inning, and here's Kyle Seager. Seager swings on the first pitch, hit to second, and the out made for out number 1. We'll look at it again. Quick work there by the rookie Joe Panic. And he's able to get the out. No jitters from him. And here's Kendry Morales. First pitch, a slider. In there for ball 1. Kendry Morales, 31 years old, from Cuba. Swings on the first pitch, and this will drop into right field. And he's on with a base hit. Morales was a Mariner back in 2013. Didn't sign this coming season with the Mariners. Signed with the Twins, played 39 games with them, and now he's back. Here he is in the tournament getting a 1-out single. And we'll see if the catcher Mike Zunino can do anything with that. First pitch, Zunino will take the curveball for ball 1. Zunino, essentially the catcher in Seattle. He's had a number of backups. Batting .212, but don't let the batting average necessarily scare you away. As this one fouled off, prevents the hit and run. 17 home runs, that leads the team. 40 RBIs for Mike Zunino. This one carrying into left field, and we almost had another one. Right there, just hooked a little bit too much. The gaudiest number of all, though, is the 100 as that two-seamer's in the dirt. So this is a catcher that has no problem swinging away. So for that .438 slugging percentage, he still has 106 strikeouts and only 11 walks. That's definitely something that I'm sure the 23-year-old is working on as the years go on. But here goes another strikeout. At least the regular season total isn't combined with the Coliseum tournament total. But that is the first one for Zunino. And we'll see how many more he'll end up with. But in the meantime, it's 2 outs with Morales on first, and here's Dustin Ackley. Pretty much the only guy left unharmed by the big trades made yesterday. As this one will roll into right field, and that'll be good enough to advance Morales to second, and that'll put Ackley on with a 2-out single. Take a look at it on replay here. So now 2 on and 2 out for the shortstop Brad Miller as we come to the final position player in the lineup. Four-seamer just outside for ball 1. Can't get Miller to chase. Brad Miller with the departures of Brendan Ryan last season and Nick Franklin just a couple of days ago. He is for sure the shortstop as he hits this one high into left field, but easily played by Mike Morrison. That's how we'll close out the inning. A look at McCovey Cove. We'll see if any player can hit one into those waters, as it's still scoreless heading into the bottom of the second. And here is first baseman Travis Ishikawa. First pitch to him from Felix, sinker. As I said in the pitcher introduction for Felix, He's always been a dominant pitcher. It's just been a matter of if the Mariners' position players can back him up, both offensively and defensively. This one hit, but essentially lines into right field for out number 1. So Ishikawa, who was recently called up from Fresno to fill in for the absurd amount of injuries the Giants have, flies out. And here's Brandon Crawford, the shortstop. Sinker taken. Hernandez is 11-3 so far on the year. He's in much better shape than the double-digit wins, double-digit loss you saw on his 2013 record on that graphic in the introduction. Kicks and delivers the 0-1. That sinker sinks into the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Joe Panic, the second baseman, blocking our view a little bit there. He's due up next. 1 ball and 1 strike to Brandon Crawford. Swings and misses on the 4-seamer. 1 out early on here in the bottom of the second. Nobody on yet. 2 hits by the Giants in the first. Going to see if they can get some more here. This one up in the air. Playable for Ackley. He's got it for out number 2. Look again on replay. Decent hit, but too high and playable. So Ackley able to make the routine out. And here is Joe Panic, rookie second baseman from New York City. First pitch outside, a 4-seamer. Panic, born in Yonkers, went to high school in Hopewell Junction, and played collegiately at St. John's. So you can't get any more New York than that. Hopewell Junction, close to Poughkeepsie upriver. But he was drafted by the Giants in the first round of the 2011 draft. As that 1-1 pitch is low and inside for ball 2. And he finally he signed in June 11th of 2011, and he made his debut 3 years and 10 days later on June 21st. So after growing up in New York his whole life, he starts his career with the Giants, and he's on with a single to keep the inning alive. 2 outs, Panic on first. And that'll bring up the pitcher, Madison Bumgarner. A look at Panic there at first, just to finish up the thought. Joe Panic from New York, now living in San Francisco. He's basically in the West Coast, New York. Rent equally as high, so probably not too much homesickness there. Same amount of traffic, better weather. Just a week-long drive along I-80 from home. Simple enough. Bumgarner fouls this one down the line. Panic, as you see, his speed and steal stats, has yet to steal a base at the major league level. And he won't get his chance here as Bumgarner strikes out. That is King Felix's first of the game. We'll see how many more are coming up, but for now it's still scoreless from San Francisco. Welcome back to San Francisco, and this could be awkward for Felix Hernandez. He just struck out Madison Bumgarner to end the previous half inning, and now we enter the top of the third. And Madison Bumgarner has the opportunity to get some revenge. First pitch, though, Hernandez fouls it off. Slider outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mariners got 2 hits, but left both of them stranded back in the 2nd inning. Surely going to be looking for some runs very soon. We'll see if they come out off the bat of Felix Hernandez, but so far he's behind 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch from Bumgarner. As that one ties up Hernandez, and Bumgarner gets his revenge to start off the 3rd. So we're back to the top of the lineup, and here for the 2nd time is Austin Jackson. 1 out, nobody on, taking on Madison Bumgarner. Kick and release. Jackson puts this one in play, rolls to panic, and the easy out made it first. 2 up and 2 down so far, and Bumgarner's going to look to close it out here as Jackson heads back to the dugout. Here's Chris Denorfia. Chris Denorfia moves out of the way on that one first off, but Chris Denorfia, well known as a very good defensive fielder, started off his career in the Reds organization, came to the Padres in 2010 after a stint in Oakland. And for the most part, he's been very valuable to the Padres, but this season, he kind of saw that production fall off after being about 270, 280 hitter for the first 4 seasons in San Diego. He dropped off to 242 in 2014. Perhaps a change of scenery will do him some good. We'll find out as he starts off the tournament in a Mariners uniform. 2-1 count to Denorfia, and he fouls off the pitch. Looking to keep the inning alive. He's now a strike away from going down. Denorfia did not play in the Padres opening game for the Angels, and he goes down on strikes here. 2nd strikeout of the inning, 3rd overall for Bumgarner, and still scoreless heading into the bottom of the 3rd. Welcome back to San Francisco. The leadoff hitter will start things off in the bottom of the 3rd. I'd like to make a correction. At the end, heading to break, I said that was the 3rd strikeout for Madison Bumgarner. It's actually 4 because the opening at-bat to Austin Jackson was a dropped strikeout, but it was eventually completed. So 4 for Bumgarner. Only 1 so far for Hernandez. That one's fouled off. Felix Hernandez taking on the shaky stance of Hunter Pence. But once you look at the numbers, there's nothing shaky about it. 289 for Hunter, and he's looking to get on with a base hit here. He'll have to leg it out, and he does. Just in time. Able to reach on the single. Brad Miller able to get the ball and collect it, but just couldn't get it to first in time. So here's Gregor Blanco, grounded out his last time up, trying to fight his way out of a slump that he was in coming into this tournament. Pence on first. And the change up in there for strike 1. That's the 4th hit of the game for San Francisco. Though they have yet to turn it into any runs just yet. 0-1 from Hernandez. That curveball will drop. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Blanco showing bunt, lays it down nicely. Pence gets to second, and the sacrifice is successful. So now Pence is in scoring position for Buster Posey. Buster Posey with 54 RBIs on the season. He leads the team, batting .282 on the year. One ball, no strike here to Posey. Four-seamer outside, ball 2. The Giants have seen strong production from a number of key players in the lineup. The problem comes with the other players in the lineup. For instance, if you go down the line, you get Hunter Pence, Buster Posey, Pablo Sandoval, Mike Morse, all just delivering big numbers this season for San Francisco. All the other pieces have been interchangeable parts that have either slumped or been injured or, well, both. So we'll wonder if those questions are answered over the course of this tournament, as well as heading into the postseason, which is closer than you think as we enter the month of August. 3 balls and 1 strike to Buster Posey. Check swing and a ball. So Posey will occupy the open first base as he's on with a walk. Here's Pablo Sandoval once again. We will give him his week and a half to finish his walk-up routine. And he's ready to go. 1 out, 2 men on. Sandoval's looking to get another base hit. Won't be on that pitch. Four-seamer high for ball 1. Sandoval puts bat to ball, and they'll get the out at second and won't get the double play. So Buster Posey forced out 1-6. Pence advances to third. And Pablo Sandoval is on with a fielder's choice. Runners on the corners, 2 out for Mike Morse. As I said, you got to appreciate the production from Morse. 276 on the year. 15 home runs, 49 RBIs. And he'll swing on the 0-1. This one hit to Miller. Force play at second. That's all they need. So 2 runners stranded again. And the Giants still come up scoreless heading into the top of the 4th. Welcome back to San Francisco. Seattle up to bat. Cano, first pitch he sees, he fouls off. In terms of fanfare, Robinson Cano was Austin Jackson before Austin Jackson came along. A huge signing for the Mariners over the offseason, and one that frankly surprised everybody. But the Mariners were the team that could give Robinson Cano the most money. So he did not hesitate to take it, and now he's here. Take the slider. 2 balls and 1 strike. And since he's been in the Emerald City, his production has not missed a beat. 328 average, only 7 home runs, but a team 59 RBIs. That's second on the team. He'll get on with a base hit here, leading off the inning with a single. That is only the Mariners' third hit of the game. So here is Kyle Seager, who grounded out his last time up. And Cano's going for it, but apparently on a hit and run, or Seager got the signals crossed. Didn't just let Cano go. Slider in there, 0-2. Could have been either as well. Coming into the tournament, 10 steal attempts. Cano was successful on 8 of them. This one in the dirt. Cano's going to go for it, and Posey is not able to round it up in time to stop Cano from getting to second. So now Cano is in scoring position, and that will be scored a wild pitch. And this one hit weakly, so the 1-3 out is made at least. But Cano manages to advance to third. So he's 90 feet away from giving the Mariners their first run. Here is Kendry Morales, who will be tasked with bringing him in. Two-seamer inside for strike one. Coming into the tournament, Kendry has 20 RBIs between both Minnesota and Seattle, 2 of them with the Mariners, 18 of them with the Twins. The 0-1 from Bumgarner. Four-seamer inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ooh, inside on the slider. Kendry has to move out of the way. That one fouled off. This one fouled off as well. Kendry Morales going toe-to-toe with Madison Bumgarner, hoping to bring Robinson Cano home 90 feet away with 1 out. Slider in the dirt. Count now full. And even if Morales goes down, the threat does not lessen as Mike Zunino, despite the strikeout-to-walk ratio, is still a very powerful hitter. Morales reaches. He probably could have walked if he kept the bat on his shoulder. Weak swing gets to Bumgarner, keeps Cano at third, and makes the out easy at first. So another 1-3 put out. Madison Bumgarner has had to stave off the threat of surrendering a run all by himself so far, with 2 assists to major putouts in this inning. And here is Mike Zunino. He of 100+ strikeouts heading into this tournament. We're going to be looking for a base hit here. Here's a pitch. Four-seamer in there. Check swing on the changeup. No balls, 2 strikes. Along with all those strikeouts he had in the regular season, Zunino has a strikeout in the second. Looking to keep from getting number. Slider keeps him alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That slider in the zone, and that's going to close out the inning. That's strikeout number 2 for Zunino. Another look at McCovey Cove. Hope they're not getting bored out there. We might see a home run, but for now it's scoreless heading into the bottom of the 4th. Welcome back to San Francisco. The Giants and Mariners are going at it here, still scoreless. Ishikawa gets on base with the leadoff single, swinging at the first pitch he sees. Ishikawa's been spending most of the year down in Fresno. 71 games, 271 average. But in the midst of a bunch of injuries, he comes up to the majors. Not that he's new to it. And he gets a base hit here on his second at bat. Here's Brandon Crawford swinging and fouling off the hit and run pitch. He'll swing on the second pitch. This one carrying out to center. Should be playable for Austin Jackson. And he gets his first action of the game, making his first putout as a Seattle Mariner. So that will bring up Joe Panik. One out. Ishikawa on first. Check swing on the sinker. 1 ball, 1 strike. Due up next is the pitcher once again, Madison Bumgarner. Panik's trying to give him at least an additional base runner to work with. Broken bat. Straight back to Hernandez. And he gets the out at first. So Ishikawa will advance to second. Didn't seem like a sacrifice type of play. So you can probably just go ahead and score that as a ground out. So here's Madison Bumgarner, strikeout in the second. First pitch to him. 4-seamer for strike 1. Bumgarner struck out to end the second inning, and the leadoff hitter in the top of the 3rd was Felix Hernandez. Bumgarner was able to get his revenge by striking Hernandez out, but we'll see if Felix will try to retaliate to the retaliation. Felix just needs 1 more out to get out of the inning. There's Ishikawa behind him at second in scoring position, looking to come home off of a well-placed hit. Pitchers may not be able to hit, but just need 1 to go at just the right angle. Fouls off another one, stays alive. One-two swing and a miss. And another strikeout for Madison Bumgarner. And that's how we'll close out the inning. Another Giant left on base. Still scoreless heading into the top of the 5th. Dustin Ackley stepping up to the plate. As I alluded to before, he's pretty much the only fielder out there that hasn't been impacted by the major trades made yesterday by the Seattle Mariners. One 0 count to Ackley. Here's the pitch from Bumgarner. Fouled off for strike one. If we were Wednesday, it would be James Jones in center and Endy Chavez in right. Chavez has been struggling all season pretty much. And James Jones is a developing player who has shown flashes but might not be ready for the big time just yet. Four-seamer, 3 balls, 1 strike to Dustin Ackley. This one fouled down the line. Full count in there, strikeout looking for Dustin Ackley. Sometimes there's a pitch that's in the strike zone that would have been hard to hit anyways. That did not look like one of them. Like something that Ackley probably should have took a crack at, but he doesn't. And that'll bring up Brad Miller with the bases empty and 1 out. Miller pops this one up in the air. The shortstop pops it up to the shortstop for out number 2. And once again, here is the pitcher, Felix Hernandez. He'll take the slider. Bumgarner, much like Hernandez, has had a very full time dealing with these batters, but it's been worth it as both pitchers have held both teams scoreless. This one flies out to right. Not a problem at all for Hunter Pence. So still scoreless heading into the bottom of the 5th. We're halfway home on the Coliseum Sports Network. Here is Hunter Pence that made the last out. He's leading off the 5th and restarting the lineup for the 3rd time today. Here comes pitch number 50 from Hernandez, and Pence swings on it, carrying into left field. The dive by Ackley unsuccessful. That forces Jackson to round it up, and Pence is on with a leadoff double. Take a look at it again. You got to bless Ackley for trying, but just couldn't get the glove in the right angle to dive out and get that ball and turn that into an out. So Pence able to round the corner. He almost went for 3, but thought better of it. So he's just going to stick with a double and see if Gregor Blanco can bring him in. It's been a 0-0 stalemate through 4.5. The Giants are going to look to change that here. They've had some opportunities, but they have left a grand total of 6 men on base. Blanco fouls off the first pitch. 0-1. That one gets past the catcher, and Pence able to advance to third. Probably another wild pitch, but we'll get the official word from the score. We'll take a look at it again on replay. And that is a passed ball. Looking at that replay, I can agree with that one. That one was in the glove of Zunino.
1-2.
And of course, as we all know, King Felix is infallible. Being facetious, of course, but Pence is now on third for Gregor Blanco. Makes it at least 90 feet easier to bring him home. The 1-2. This one hit right to Brad Miller. He's able to get the out at first. He's going to concede the run, and Pence is in. That's the first run of the game. And it is now 1-0 in favor of the Giants. So here is Buster Posey with the bases empty and 1 out. Giants just on the board, 1-0. It's not a shot to McCovey Cove, so those kayakers out there still probably waiting for something to do. Hope they brought some cards, a little something to eat, but I'm sure they're Giants fans and they'll be more than happy to just have the lead. Four-seamer fouled off. But the Giants right back here in San Francisco to host the Astros. As this one is hit. Took a no for the 4-3 putout. That is out number 2. Take a look at it again on replay here. Kind of swung at something, not the best pitch to hit in the world, but he just wanted to get something going. That winner's game against the Astros would be on August 7th. Meanwhile, the loser's bracket game, which at least with these early projections would be the Mariners since they're down 1-0. That loser's bracket game at Oakland across the bay will be on Tuesday. So if you win, you play Thursday. If you lose, you play Tuesday. 2 out, 1-0 count, bases empty to Pablo Sandoval. Hernandez trying to get out of the inning with minimal damage. He could have possibly gotten out of it with even lesser damage if not for the passed ball, but that's a little too counterfactual to really delve into. 2 balls and 1 strike. Four-seamer in there, strike 2 taken. Sandoval hits this one right to Miller, and the routine putout made at first. So after Pence, it's 3 up, 3 down essentially. But the Giants are on the board heading into the top of the 6th, 1-0.
Leading off for the Mariners, center fielder,
Austin Jackson in for the 3rd time today. Going to see if he can get some offense. And it's barely even been 24 hours since he became a Mariner. He smacks this one into right field, drops past the diving Pence, and he will get extra bases. one more extra one than I expected. It's a leadoff triple for Austin Jackson. I was just ready to say that it was going to be a leadoff double, but then I saw that Austin just kept going, and I just let him finish out his run. But yeah, that's one of the quirks here of AT&T Park, especially over there in right field. You can get some good bases if you hit it just right over there against the scoreboard. So let's see if the other new Mariner, Chris Denorfia, can bring him home. I was going to say Austin Jackson hasn't even been a Mariner for a good 24 hours yet. As a matter of fact, he was playing for the Tigers around this time yesterday. He had to be pulled off of the field mid-game because he had been traded and was no longer a member of the team. But with a leadoff triple, he seems to be fitting right in with Seattle. And we'll see if Denorfia can get an RBI and start off his tenure in Seattle off to a better start than his time in San Diego in 2014. Possibly get back to the numbers he had his first 3 seasons in San Diego. But right now, though, against Bumgarner, it's a 1-1 count. There's Austin Jackson in your third base inset. Speed and steal stats presented by MLB 14 The Show. And Denorfia will take a slider inside. Two balls, one strike. The pitch to Denorfia. Swung on, right into right field, rounded up by Pence. That's going to be an RBI single for Chris Denorfia. So the newest Mariners put the Mariners back on board.
The batter number 22, second baseman, Robinson Cano.
So Robinson Cano, who has been dominant for the Mariners all year, we'll see if he can join in. Top of the 6th, and the Giants already have the bullpen going as Cano hits this one to panic. So at least there's an out there for the Giants, but it still manages to advance Denorfia. So here's Kyle Seager next up. Runner in scoring position yet again for the Mariners. 1 out. And Seager will take the fastball at about the belt for strike 1. That fastball high and in. 1 ball, 1 strike for Bumgarner. Or from Bumgarner to Seager, that is. This one hit into center field. It's carrying and caught at the warning track. That will give Denorfia a chance to tag up, and he's over at third. Here's a look at the pitch report for Bumgarner. Mostly 4-seamers and sliders, but late in this juncture here, he might have to start switching up some of his pitches. First pitch to Kendry Morales is a strike. Looking to bring Denorfia home, who's essentially gone from station to station. Got on with a single. moved to second on the 4-3 put out to Cano. And then on the fly out, DeNorfia was able to advance to third. Gonna need a hit here, though. Swing and a miss on the fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Morales smacks that one foul down the first base side. And Morales puts this one in play, rounded up by Panic, 4-3, and that will prevent another run from coming in. But the Mariners do manage to score after an Austin Jackson triple and a DeNorfia RBI single. So it's back 1-1 heading into the bottom of the 6th. Mike Morse here to lead off the bottom of the 6th inning. The Giants were able to get the scoring going in the 5th. But after giving up that lead in the top of the 6th, the Giants are going to see if they can get a little more offense and get the lead back. Two balls and 1 strike to Mike Morse. Gets this one elevated, but hooks foul down the right baseline. Morse will foul that one back, trying to stay alive here against King Felix. Morse leads the team in home runs with 15. And he'll take the changeup. Due up next, the first baseman, Travis Ishikawa. Payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. And there's another strikeout for Felix Hernandez. You would think a pitcher like Felix would have more, but that is only his 3rd of the game. So here's Ishikawa back up at the plate. Travis was drafted by the Giants in 2002, made his debut in 2006, and he essentially spent 5 years with the team. Well, he had 4 major league seasons as this one pops up to center field, and Jackson will get the out. That's out number 2 here in the bottom of the. Here's Brandon Crawford up at the plate. First pitch to Crawford, a sinker for ball 1. Opening day, there were a whole bunch of Brandons just running around the Giants roster. You had Brandon Crawford, you have Brandon Belt, you have Brandon Hicks. Hicks has been sent down. Belt is on the 7-day DL, and Crawford just grounds out to end the inning. So it's 1-1 heading into. Been a pitcher's duel here. It's been quite the game here in San Francisco. Big time defensive matchup, probably the best in terms of defense, because either team has only conceded a run. So you can credit that to the pitching. You can credit that to the defense as well. The Giants were able to get the Mariners' D to crack just a little bit in the 5th, but Seattle struck back in the 6th. So now here in the top of the 7th, the Mariners are going to see if they can take advantage. Here's Mike Zunino. He struck out twice to this very pitcher, Madison Bumgarner. And it kind of just goes with the boom or bust type of at-bats that Mike Zunino tends to have early in his career. He fouls this one off. Even though I don't know if you want to call it 17 to 106 home run to strikeout ratio, boom or bust. Here's the 1-1 for Bumgarner. This one put in play, carrying into right field. It's still going off the wall. Played well by Pence. Of course, this is his home park. And the Giants only give up one extra base off of that hit. Certainly, the Giants don't want to give up any runs at all. But at least it's understood that if you play it off of the wall just right, you'll be able to only give up at least one extra base, which is still a little doable. Here comes Bruce Bochy out here with the double switch. And it's on defense as Dustin Ackley comes up to the plate. Ackley fouls it off. No balls, one strike. Change up in there. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Dustin Ackley. Part of my confusion there here at the beginning of Ackley's at-bat, Bruce Bochy came out to make a double switch, but the first part of that double switch is a pitching change. So Bumgarner is done. And Javier Lopez is in, and the first batter he faced, which is Ackley, is down on strikes. So here's Brad Miller up at the plate. Miller reaches on the 1-0, hits this one to third, and the play is not made. Miller is on safely, and that's probably going to be an E5. We'll get the confirmation from the score very shortly. But take a look at it here on replay. Is this routine? Actually, this could be a E3, actually. With the slight struggle there at first by usually reliable Travis Ishikawa. On the same token, Zunino is stuck at second. And they will call that an E5. Hernandez shows bunt, pulls it back, 1 ball. Shows bunt again, pulls it back for ball 2. Javier Lopez, 36-year-old lefty. He has been playing professionally in the majors since 1998. Pulls back bunt again, does Hernandez. It's 3 balls and no strikes. And you don't want to walk the pitcher, that's for sure. Javier Lopez, born in San Juan, but went to high school in Fairfax, Virginia, and then went to college in Charlottesville. Hernandez finally lays down the bunt. Zunino's going to go to third. Miller's going to advance to second. And Hernandez is able to pull off the sacrifice. Austin Jackson up at the plate. Gonna look to bring in both of those Mariners. At least one, don't want to get greedy. This one falls into the glove of Ishikawa though, so totally moot point. And it is time to stretch. Still 1-all after 2 are stranded by the Mariners heading into the bottom of the 7th. Joe Panik, the rookie, in here to lead off the bottom of the 7th inning. The Mariners send Bumgarner to the showers, but are unable to capitalize and leave 2 runners stranded in scoring position. So now it's the Giants who will look to take advantage. Four-seamer in there. Hernandez still dealing. 77 pitches to his name. Two balls and 2 strikes now for Joe Panik. Swung on and missed, and there is for Felix Hernandez. And let's look at number 4 on the replay here. Just too little too late on the swing by Panik. And to finish off the double switch that we saw that had Lopez come in, here is Joaquin Arias hitting in the 9th spot. He swings on the first pitch he sees, and that will fly out to right. Route number 1. Denorfia able to play it well. So here's Hunter Pence to lead off the inning. He comes in with 2 outs and nobody on base. Pence gets this one high in the air to right field. Denorfia chasing it down, and he's got it. 3 up, 3 down. Still 1-1 heading into the top of the 8th. Mariners got the bats going, but can they score? Chris Denorfia made the last 2 outs. of the previous half inning. And now he's up to bat after Austin Jackson popped up to first to end that last inning. This one hit right back to the pitcher. Lopez able to make the out, no problem, to start off the inning. Now Arias was a part of that double switch. He was pinch hitting for the pitchers, or he was pinch hitting, I'm assuming, for Brandon Crawford, while the pitching position will now hit 7th. Meanwhile, here's Robinson Cano. Good chance nobody's going to be pinch hitting for him. But we'll see what the game takes us here in the top of the 8th with 1 out. 2-seamer high for ball 1. Giants fans aren't happy with that. Here's the 1-0 to Cano. Change up in there for a strike. Been a very good turnout. Which is what you'd expect from a Giants game. This one fouls off. One ball and 2 strikes to Robinson Cano. He was able to hit a single in the 4th. But other than that, he hasn't been able to get in tune. As a matter of fact, he strikes out on the check swing right there. So he is now 1 for 4 on the day. And here's Kyle Seager. Last chance for some offense here in the bottom of the 8th. If he's able to reach, Kendry Morales is due up next. Seager 0 for 3 so far. Fouls this one back. He's grounded out his first 2 times up. He flew out back in the 6th. That's the last time he's been up to the plate. No balls, 1 strike, 2 out, empty bases. Giants and Mariners looking for a chance to advance to the winner's bracket. Calls ball on that pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. This one fouls down the line. Javier Lopez has been around the league. He's played in Colorado, in Arizona, in Boston, in Pittsburgh even for half a year. But since 2010, Javier Lopez has been a San Francisco Giant. 15-5 career record with a 2.27 ERA, wearing the black and orange. And he has a 1 ball and 2 strike count here. So Kyle Seager looking to close out the inning. Does just that right there. Got him looking. And that's 3 strikeouts for Javier Lopez in relief work. And we'll head to the bottom of the 8th. The Giants going to see if they can take the lead here late in the game. The pitchers have been dealing throughout the game. Either staff giving up a single run. So far, the staff for the Mariners has solely been Felix Hernandez, and as a matter of fact, late in this game, he's actually gotten better with his stuff. He is creeping up on 100 pitches eventually, though. He has 81 right now, so we'll see if the Giants can get him to ramp up the pitches with some tough at-bats. Gregor Blanco up at the plate takes a strike. looking to lead off with a base hit of some sort. Thought bunt a little too late, and that's strike two. Kicks and delivers, and Blanco hits this one into left field. Diving catch by Ackley. He got it that time. Let's take a look at this again on replay. So Posey up at the plate. It was on Hunter Pence's double, I believe, that Dustin Ackley attempted to perform a diving catch, and he missed. First two pitches to Posey are balls. So Zunino comes out to talk with Hernandez. We'll see if Hernandez takes heed from the slight pep talk. Here's the 2-0 delivery. Four-seamer in there for ball three. After 7 1/3, we're seeing Hernandez struggle with Buster Posey. That one at the knees saves the at-bat. Seems we've gotten to a point where you just need one. And if the Giants can take advantage of a tiring Hernandez, they'll be able to take it home and move on to the winner's bracket. Posey hits this one down the line, past some teammates in the bullpen. Hernandez has worked his way back to a full count. So he's in the midst of a duel here against Buster Posey. We'll see what's going to give here. Payoff pitch. Posey knocks this one into left field, carrying, and it is up against the wall. Good for extra bases. Posey comes out on top in the batter-pitcher duel. And so manager Lloyd McClendon has seen enough out of Hernandez, and admittedly it's been a very strong performance from the King as he goes 7 1/3, only giving up 1 run and only giving up 4 hits. Let me recount that here as Charlie Furbush comes up to the mound and will get ready to go. 6 hits. So I was off by a couple there, my apologies, but Charlie Furbush is going to see if he can finish the job here. At the same time, Buster Posey has apparently seen the end of his day as Juan Perez comes on as a pinch runner. So here is Pablo Sandoval, who was called up earlier before the changes were made. And he's going to try to bring home the pinch runner, Perez. This one popped up in the air. And that's Seager getting out number 2 on the pop-up. So here's Mike Morse. He's going to see if he can get Juan Perez to come home. And Furbush decides he's not even going to deal with Mike Morse. And rightfully so. Morse does come into this tournament leading the team in home runs. And you don't want to try that type of power and jeopardize your team. So here's Travis Ishikawa. Of course, the Mariners defense will be looking for the force play. Two outs, 2 runners on. Charlie Furbush in relief, looking to keep the Giants from scoring. Can he carry the torch? Can he pick up where Felix Hernandez left off? This one fouled back by Ishikawa. Four-seamer in there, and Furbush is ahead in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Four-seamer sails high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two inside, runs the count full. As a result of the double switch, the 7th spot is now occupied by the pitcher, and that pitcher is currently Javier Lopez. We'll see if Lopez is coming back out in the top of the 9th or if they'll have a pinch hitter. And we'll find out right now, as Furbush, after giving up an intentional walk to Mike Morse, now gives an unintentional walk to Travis Ishikawa. Four-seamer in there for strike 1 to Andrew Susich. Andrew Susich has just been called up as the backup catcher to Buster Posey. That four-seamer finds its way in there. Susich from the Sacramento area, no stranger to Giants baseball, played collegiately at Oregon State and was drafted by the Giants in 2011 in the 2nd round. He just made his debut on the 26th of July. For a rookie catcher, he has been placed in a very big spot. He's jammed up. And it will be a tag out at home. So it's still tied after 8.
Your attention, please. 2. 1 for Hernandez. Your attention, please. Now pitching for the Giants, number 63, C. Leading off for the Mariners, first baseman, Morales.
You've seen the changes made here as we enter the top of the ninth for the Mariners. None of them by the Mariners. Gene Machi into the game, looking to see if he can close out and give the Giants the chance to walk off. Morales smacks this one, rounded up by Panic and the out at first as Ishikawa. So we'll have a pinch hitter here in place of Mike Zunino, who came up with the double back in the seventh but otherwise struck out 2 other times. Here is James Jones, who, as I discussed earlier, had been forced out of that starting center fielder position. The rookie from Brooklyn takes the 4-seamer inside for strike 1. And a strikeout by Machi makes it 2 outs. Runs have surely been at a premium, and the Giants pitching staff has made sure of that. Here's Dustin Ackley. Now, as we enter the bottom of the ninth, it'll be interesting to see what happens to James Jones. Chances are that was his one shot there. He's not a catcher. It doesn't mean that Lloyd McClendon might not do something incredibly weird and leave him in as catcher, heaven forbid, but Jesus Sucre is the backup catcher. We'll see if he's the one that'll come out. In the meantime, 1-1 count to Ackley. The splitter finds itself outside for ball 2. Ackley fouls that one off. And the count now full. Ackley puts a good hit on that one, but it fouls down the third base side. Fouls this one off towards the dugout. Ackley is struck out looking twice. He does not want to do that again here. to a third different pitcher. And for at least another at bat, he doesn't. Full count. There's the pitch, and he strikes out for a third time. At least he went down swinging. Heading into the bottom of the ninth. Game still tied at 1. Do the Giants have walk-off magic in them? We will find out after this. It's the Mariners' turn to employ the double switch. We'll see what Lloyd McClendon goes with here. This is very crucial, lest they give up any home runs. So Tom Wilhelmsen's position will move to the 7th spot. And Jesus Sucre will come in as catcher. So Tom Wilhelmsen in the game, going to see if he can force this one to go to extra innings. And this one hit down the line. Four-seamer in there to Joe Panic. It's been a great game so far, as neither team has budged. Four-seamer low at the knees. The winner will go on to host the Houston Astros. As this one is hit to short. Will the angle be right for Miller? It won't be. Great job by Brad Miller to scoop it up, but the angle that the ball took and the way he collected it, he just would not have been able to pull that off. I'm not even sure if Manny Machado would have been able to. Here's the new shortstop. Actually batting for the second time today, Joaquin Arias, here in the 9th spot, as the Giants performed a double switch in the previous inning, so that you don't have the pitcher hitting here. Arias showing bunt, pulls it back. Two balls, no strikes to Joaquin Arias. Showing bunt again, pulls it back on the cutter. And there's a bunt laid down by Arias, but this could be 2. It won't be. And Arias is safe on the fielder's choice. So here's Hunter Pence with 1 out and a runner still on first. Curveball outside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Hunter Pence. Man on first in the bottom of the ninth, tied at 1. Pence going to have to avoid the double play, lest we end up in extras. This one fouled off, but playable. And Seager's got it for out number 2. So here's Gregor Blanco, 0 for 3 today. And as I discussed before, he's been in a bit of a funk over the past month or so. Now would be the perfect time to break out. First pitch, two-seamer inside, but still in the zone, 0-1. And this one hit down the line, and the tag applied unassisted by Kendry Morales. So, looks like we're going to have extras here in San Francisco. Still 1-all. Oh, we aren't done yet. The final tournament game of the opening round is going into extras, tied at 1. First pitch to Brad Miller from Gene Machi, in there for a strike. Splitter inside now. 1 ball and 1 strike. Glad that you could join me. I'm Raymond Sims. Been bringing you the Coliseum baseball tournament since July the 23rd. We'll be bringing it to you all the way through no later than August 25th. Miller hits this one to Panic, and he's able to make yet another routine out. Joe Panic has had a heck of a game defensively. Anything that's come to him, he's had no problem putting it away. So here's Endy Chavez, who enters the game in the 9th spot. And Chavez comes in the game and gets on with a single.
Center fielder number 14, Austin Jackson.
Chavez on first, and Machi pitches out to make sure that Chavez remains at first. The 2-0 to Austin Jackson, high for ball 3. Machi was effective back in the 9th, striking out 2 Mariners. And he's forced 2 other Mariners to ground out to second. Is he running out of gas, or is he just getting started? He throws a strike, saved the at-bat. 3 balls, 1 strike to Austin Jackson. And that splitter too low. And Jackson is on with a walk. That'll push Chavez to second base, as Chris DeNorfia will come up to the plate. Chris DeNorfia hit the RBI single to bring in the Mariners' lone run, which came off of a triple from Austin Jackson. Chavez is now in scoring position. So we'll see if DeNorfia can bring it against Gene Machi. 1 out, 2 men on here in the top of the 10th. Four-seamer whiffed by DeNorfia. 1 ball and 1 strike, and Machi, being the warrior he is, trying to throw strikes and get that out. DeNorfia reaches on a pitch outside of the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. DeNorfia takes the 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Four-seamer outside, and now the count's full. Machi two pitches ago was in business. He could have struck out DeNorfia, but now the count's full. We'll see what happens on the payoff pitch here. That one in the dirt. A strikeout. But it still allows Jackson to advance to second, and Chavez to advance to third. And instead of dealing with the mighty Robinson Cano, Machi will intentionally walk him.
The batter, number 15, third baseman, Kyle Seager.
So now in comes Kyle Seager, who struck out looking his last time up. He has 2. Make that 3 runners on base. Bases are full. My apologies there. You got Endy Chavez at third. You have Austin Jackson at second. And you have Robinson Cano at first. Machi looking to get out of a jam. Seager looking to bring home some Mariners as he swings and fouls this one down the third base side. Giants fans on their feet looking to cheer on the pitcher. Ooh, that splitter down Broadway, strike 2. Waste pitch up and outside for ball 1. And Seager gets this one airborne, but a flyout is not enough. And the bases are loaded, and all 3 Mariners are stranded. So we're heading to the top of the 10th, still 1-1. Who's gonna budge? Juan Perez will step into the batter's box. First pitch in there, a 4-seamer for ball 1. Perez fouls that one back. Four-seamer outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Now Perez, in the majors, has always been an outfielder. But he's been called in to catch as the actual backup catcher, Andrew Susak, was unable to catch as he had come in already. So Bruce Bochy in a weird spot does what he can. Juan Perez has done an admirable job. He has used his abilities to get Machi out of a bases loaded jam. But now he's up at the plate. He's going to need that same ability to get on base. Here's the payoff pitch. And Perez will take his base. Here's Pablo Sandoval up at the plate, looking to advance Perez from first. Two-0 count here to Pablo Sandoval. Two-0 in there for a strike. Sandoval pops this one up in the air. Should be playable for Sucre. And he got it. Here's Mike Morse up at the plate. He was intentionally walked his last time up. And it looks like they won't do it again. Nope, they'll pitch to him. First one, a four-seamer, low it outside. Strike one. Curveball in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Another curveball and another one out of the zone. 2 balls, 1 strike. Bottom of the 10th. 1 out. Juan Perez, usually an outfielder, but he's the catcher in for Buster Posey, is at first. And Mike Morse looking to bring the bat and give the Giants the win. This one popped up in the air to right field. It's carrying at the landing, and it's not coming down. And there you have it, a walk-off home run. As I've been alluding to, each time Mike Morse comes up, he comes into the tournament leading the team in home runs with 15, and he hits one at just the right time. Extra innings to send San Francisco into the final slot in the winner's bracket. So while they're moving on to the winner's bracket, they aren't going anywhere. They'll be hosting the number 8 seed Houston Astros, who upset crosstown rival Oakland in the second game of the opening round. And of course, Mike Morse is going to be our top player of the game, especially when you come through in the clutch like that. So it was a defensive chess match, a pitcher's duel between Felix Hernandez and Madison Bumgarner. But in the end, it was the offense that took over as Mike Morse sent one into McCovey Cove. See, I knew those kayakers were going to get something to do at some point, and it finally pays off. All that waiting. Check that out. So yes, that will do it for the opening round. What a great round it has been, and we thank you for watching it with us. We move into the second round, winners bracket action, losers bracket action. All that starts on Monday with the Cubs taking on the Toronto Blue Jays, or Pittsburgh taking on Detroit. But until next time, I'm Raymond Sims. Goodbye, everybody.